Every weekend, I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other. It's part of who I am. If you ride, you know what I mean. That's why I insure with Shannons. They get it. They share our passion and give us the features riders want, like limited use cover and multi-vehicle discounts. Shannons insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. Whatever you ride, ride with Shannons.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Rare Spares has over 50,000 product lines and releases over 500 new products every year. Your local Rare Spares distributor has what you need when you need it. And as the only restoration company officially backed by Holden and Ford, we take our part in your project very seriously. Rare Spares, more than just a part in your project.
Good evening, sim racing fans. Welcome back to SRWtv. Tonight, we're back into the world of open wheelers for the fourth round of season 4 of the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals. With the action of last week's sprint round at Kota still smouldering in the air, we head to the road course of Daytona International Speedways for an action-packed super sprint round. It's Cowy, average sim racer here, together with Hamish Munro, who once again is sharing the comm duties as well as looking after tonight's action. Buddy, we missed the broadcast last week. Shippy and Sheepy covered us quite awesomely. We're back, buddy. It's going to be an awesome, mate. 3 races here at Daytona. F3s, close walls. I think we might see a bit of carnage.
Yeah, mate, 100%. I remember when the supercars came here for the E-Series, although they used the oval layout of this circuit, it was absolute carnage. I've done a lot of laps around here, especially during the 24-hour races, and it is it is so hard to stay on for a lap after lap, when you are pushing hard in these super sprint conditions. During those endurance races, obviously, you can kind of take a bit of a break and just kind of cruise around. But these guys with their paper mache open wheelers are going to be pushing super hard in all 3 races tonight, just to make up any positions that they can to get the maximum amount of points they can after round 4 tonight.
Well, buddy, there has been a bit of a shake-up in the Formula 3 Nationals here. We've now added a 3rd class for the guys out there. I mean, there is 40 cars out on track, I think, for tonight's race. But we've now got the Pro class. We also have a Pro-Am and an Amateur class as well. So we will endeavour to interview the podium winners at the end of tonight's feature race, and try and grab in the Am and Pro-Am winners as well if we can. But with a super sprint, buddy, we'll try and, if we get a chance, we'll have a chat to the leaders, the winners of race 1 and 2 in that little break before race 3. But there's going to be a lot happening tonight, man. I wonder if we'll get a chat and talk to anyone with the action that's going to be coming.
I think it's going to be action-packed for sure, as we just hop on with some of the drivers whilst they circulate during their qualifying laps here tonight. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how these drivers tackle this circuit and how they tackle certain sections of this circuit. We see Phil Vella coming through the bus stop at the moment. That's going to be one of our big danger zones tonight, Cowy, is how these drivers tackle that bus stop and how they can get through it during incidents that happen, right? Because it's very easy for the car to get undulated through there, head over into the wall. If they don't hold brakes and the car comes back across on the track, well, all hell could break loose. So,
we talked before, buddy, about the power of the draft in these cars, and now you put them on an oval track where they're going to be hitting those max speeds. So we're definitely going to see the toe play a factor. Will it mean that teams need to work together? We're already halfway through quali here, so I think we might have missed a few of the guys teaming up to give each other a draft for quali. It looks like at the moment everyone's just head down, get that lap down, so they can start as far up as they can for the first of these races.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting prospect now as well to see how the drivers in this new class tackle this new style of racing, being in the fact that they don't necessarily actually have to race the amateurs for points anymore, or the pros anymore for points, depending on where they've gone into Pro-Am, whether they've come down from pro or up from amateur. So it's going to be very interesting to see the spread of skill in this Pro-Am class compared to the pros and compared to the amateurs. We can see it already. Chris Swafford is currently P1 for the Pro-Am. He's P8 in the overall standings at the moment, so he still actually has the pace to bring it to those pro guys. But again, the skill spread is what's going to be very interesting to see how that's actually changed tonight, especially around the Daytona circuit, which is high speed, high danger, and high heart rate.
We're whipping through the bus stop chicane there on board with Phil Vella. Look, yeah, it is one of those things, but I don't know if it's going to affect too much the Pro-Am and the Am guys. I think it's going to find that a few of those Am guys now find themselves that they'll be sort of fighting for more than, P20 in the championship. They're fighting for their own little championship. But as it generally happens, man, we're pretty good at classing these guys together, and you'll find for the most part they'll be racing together on track. There'll always be those outliers, someone that is maybe an amateur at heart but can pull out pro numbers at his favourite track. So you always get those sort of outliers. But it will be interesting to see how the battles pan out, and gives us another thing to talk about in this fantastic series here, the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals.
I think what it's also going to bring to us, Cowy, is actually seeing, obviously we sometimes have, those amateurs that take advantage of those wild races where we get many incidents and they've stayed consistent and clean and they find themselves in the spot for a podium. Well, now we're also going to be able to see those Pro-Am guys battle for that. I feel like the majority of the Pro-Am field were the amateurs, for the amateurs that came into Pro-Am. They were normally the ones that were actually battling for an overall podium finish, and that's why they've been put into the Pro-Am class. I mean, some of the drivers that are in there who've come down from pro. Greg Bradley, Nathan Verney, Chris Swadling, Jack Rowanwold, Andrew Johnson, Andrew Lydon. So all those guys have now dropped down from pro. But the amateur guys that have come up, so Bruce White, Bradley Hudson, those guys are now a pro-am, same with Callum Hodgkinson as well. So there is a pretty good little spread of who's moved up or moved down. And I think that's what's going to be, I don't know, it's all up in the air, obviously. We know that these F3s can bring carnage. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how the carnage plays out tonight, being that this track, I think, you know, this is going to just segue into what we normally bet on. I think we could actually see a couple of safety cars, but I don't think we'll see too many just because of the format.
I thought you hit the nail on the head before. It's all going to come down to the bus stop, and what you're going to see is you're going to see the pros absolutely flying through it, and then you're going to see the pro-ams going, okay, I don't know if I can go that fast, and then the AMs with the same, I don't know if I can go that fast. So you're going to see maybe some of those guys really pushing hard, and, you know, to race at the front of pros, you're going to have to. If you go cautious through there, then you're going to get eaten up by some pro-am and some AM guys behind you. So I think, you know, that bus stop really adds a nice element here at this track, because you'll see the guys that are prepared to really tackle it and hit it hard, and the others that are maybe a little bit cautious and a bit more fear for life. But in saying that too, buddy, we know these cars, the more you send it, the more grip you got.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've spoken about on end finding that grip limit. This track is one of the hardest tracks to find grip limit, just because of the infield is so flat and so dense that you feel like there's no grip, even though there is grip. And then on the bowl, it's almost questionable of where's the grip, just based on the angle that you're driving on around the cornered sections of the bowl. And, you know, under brakes coming... Yeah, exactly.
The transition there too is very tricky, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, we just saw, was that Daniel Byrne going through that section, and it's very easy for the car to slide up a little bit. You lose the rear there in the corner.
Yeah, I mean, you carry the wrong line into that corner, too shallow, too deep. You end up, you know, spinning the car around and having issues. And I think as well, under brakes coming into the bus zone, that's also going to be another spot to keep an eye on, because you brake too late, carry too much speed. The car's not want to turn on those short, sharp little entries into the actual bus stop, and you're going to end up into the wall. Go too slow, and the car's not going to, you know, carry enough speed to really be competitive through that section of track. So it's this little cocktail of driving tactics, I guess you could say, or driving styles that are really going to come to play to get a perfect lap out of this car around this track.
We have got about 20 seconds of quality left, because it is a super sprint round. As soon as it hits 15, it will cut off, and we'll get straight into the action for the first of our triple race meet here tonight. But yeah, look, it's going to be crazy. 40, almost 40 cars. I think it is 40 or very close to it. That's going to put an absolute wall of F3s out there. And, you know, starting on, I wonder if it's a standing start or if they've got a rolling start here, because, again, all standing start on the banking as well, buddy. So let's add a little bit more jeopardy for a few of these guys.
For sure, mate. So running through the grid now for tonight's race here tonight out of Daytona, Connor Nixon from Familiar Motorsports takes out pole position here for tonight's race. Dylan DeBono from Velocity Sim Sports comes in P2, starting just ahead of Phil Vella from Downforce Racing. Michael Cuttajar will then start at a P4 here tonight, with Jay Dixon starting at a P5. Caleb Bellack will start at a P6, just ahead of Scott Barton. I nearly said Barton then. Scott Barton at a P7. Greg Bradley will get pole for the Pro-Am, starting at a P8 overall here tonight, just ahead of Scott Pocock at a P9, with Chris Swadling coming home at a P10 for qualifying. Dwayne Burns will start at a P11, just ahead of Sean Malloy for Downforce Racing at a P12. Just ahead of pole sitter for the amateurs, Shane Bowen at a P13. Doug Gowans at a P14. Mitch McIntyre pole position for the amateurs here tonight at a P15. Daniel Byrne, a bit of a sloppy qualifying for him here tonight, Cowy. Starts at a P16 for Kittens Racing, just ahead of a couple of Pro-Ams and Andrew Lydon and Matthew Gerard in 17th and 18th. Adam Simpson will then start at a P19 ahead of Danny Matisich from P20. Nathan Verney will start at a P21, just ahead of Daniel Fritz from P22. Darren Fahey will start at a P23 here tonight, just ahead of Brad Hudson at a P24, with Nathan Gardner from CXR starting at a P25 just in behind. Mark Cochran then starts at a P26, just ahead of Andrew Johnston at a P27, with Matt Tessiero coming in at P28. Dan Bartish will start at a P29 here tonight, ahead of Adrian Loretti at a P30, with Stephen Brooks starting at a P31 and Tyler Sheaf at P32. Callan Hodgson will then start at a P33, ahead of Greg Johnston at a P34, with Steve Sinkovich starting at a P35, just ahead of Kevin Wakefield at a P36. And I believe that is the entire group. Greg Barber and Tyson McAvoy, our race controllers here tonight. Massive thank you to them as always, Cowy, because without them, we can't go racing, can we?
That's exactly right. There was a big kudos from Mitch out there in the chat I saw before. It is going to be a cracker tonight. 36 cars, mate. That is an absolute wall of F3s out there. And starting on this oval banking, and you actually see a few of the guys maybe on a straighter section at the back there. I wonder if that gives them an advantage. But, 20-minute races, buddy. This is going to be action-packed from word go. You blink and you're going to miss it. But that's what we've come to expect in the Formula 3 Nationals, buddy.
So we just await now for the lights to come up on screen so then we can go racing here tonight. Quite a spread, as we mentioned. Tonight's been all about the spread of the field, and we saw a couple of pro drivers down the order a little bit, maybe just struggling somewhat in qualifying here around this track, maybe not used to what this track can offer in terms of possible lap times. As the gridding has been completed, the lights are up. Cowy, let's get ready to go racing around Daytona.
This is round 4 of the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals, and they go off. I think it was a little bit slow for Nixon off the line there. Daytona with a good long launch, and Phil Bella behind him getting a great launch as well. Look, already looking to go 3 wide. Also a little bit of a tap in the back there at Cuttajar, and Daytona's ran wide as well. So already the front jostling for position, and look at that gaggle of cars back there. That is an awesome shot, buddy. You see the whole snake work their way through the first part of the inside of this roval here at Daytona.
I mean, just watch them come through the first couple of corners. You can kind of see them, just as you mentioned, jostling for position as best they can. I mean, Tabono out wide off the start there. He's already dropped down out of P5 in this race off the start. We know he has pace to bring it to these guys up the front, but that is not the dream start that he would want here for round number 4. As we see them come up onto the bowl section for the first time here tonight. And let's see and feel how fast these guys are going up the front.
Driver 808 on the radio, so there might have been a bit of contact in that mid-pack there at the moment. Let's see where he is at the moment.
See there, Connor Nixon just trying to break that toe as best he can to Cuttajar out of P2 as they come through the bus stop for the first time. Looking pretty neat and tidy at the moment. A couple of drivers have had a few off tracks. We will double check how they are going at the end of this lap. But look at the run from Cuttajar round the final corner now, Cowy. Well, we could see this happen all night, I reckon. Just swap and change positions from that toe. Just so
and now you can see the side draft coming into it. Okay, well he's back past, but see, Nixon can now get the job done. You almost don't want to catch them too early because Nixon had a chance to catch back up the inside. Nice tight line there. Cuttajar running wide, trying to get a better exit. Oh, there's a bit of action mid-pack there as well as Daytona puts a bit of pressure. And I think he's got past Dixon. No, Dixon's holding the inside line there. Let's scroll back to that battle a couple back there, buddy.
There has been an incident a little bit further back in the field, Cowy. We'll quickly check it out and then we'll come back to this intensifying battle that's happening up in front. And Danny Madison has had an issue coming into turn number 1. What's he done? Oh, it's coming on the brakes. Turns
he's taking Fritzy. Is that Fritzy's main contact with there?
Yes, it is Daniel Fritz. Well played there, Cowy, but it's not the start that you would want between some of these drivers. And, unfortunately,
no, definitely. I mean, look, there's 3 races tonight, so you get a chance to redeem yourself. But as I found out last night, mate, trouble comes in 3s as well. So, so I'm sure these guys will be hoping for a better night than I had in the V8 last night. Oh, a bit of action there as well. Look at this Pro-Am battle. Is that Bartosz, he's been tagged. And I think that's a kid. That was Daniel Byrne, driver 808. No, that's one of the other. That was Loretti. Yeah, and looks like he's waiting to yield that position back. We'll have to see if that ingratiates him in the eyes of race control or not.
Well, he's actually let Bartosz stay ahead of him here, so gain it. Bartosz really lost out for it. Look at the battle into turn one though. Kutterjar, Mitch and Bella.
Yeah, he's got it. Kutterjar's got the job done, and now Bella's putting the pressure. I see Doug Gowans has received a black flag, so he's involved in contact early on. Nor trying to fight back. Nixon. Good little battle here. As we said, buddy, it is a super sprint round, so yeah, you know, you can't blink. We tried to have a look at something else there for a moment. We come back and these guys start fighting again.
They are not going to give up an absolute inch tonight, Cowy. One thing we forgot to talk about though prior to the race, how many safety cars we think we're going to get? Personally, I'm going to say 2, just because of the race format here tonight.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go even more conservative than you. I'm going to say 1, because I reckon, you know, race control's only going to happen if, you know, cars broken right in a bad spot. So Nathan Burney, something's happened to him too.
As well as Mitch McIntyre. So McIntyre comes round. Horseshoe.
Burney's lost the rear. Is that all?
Oh,
and the poor boys. They couldn't do much about it. Oh, we've got a kitten going up into the air. That is carnage.
And
Will that bring it to safety car? We've got grabbing cars.
That's sure a safety car.
Is it?
These guys are still parked up, so I would say
if I said 1, I maybe said it a little bit too early. Yeah, here comes the safety car, so I've said it pretty early. It's going to be clean running from here on in.
Preemptive maybe, but yeah, safety car is now out on track. So yeah, we got 4 laps in, Cowy. We got 4 laps in around here.
Well, at the moment, buddy, I'm not seeing any of the overlays come up on my screen, so I'm not sure what's going on here. I am following of the main table, but I don't get to see all those awesome graphs of the battles and how close things are. Mind you, we're under safety cars now, so everyone really should be orange.
Well, I can help feed you that info as best I can, Cowy, as well as giving it to the viewers at home. So. But you know what, Cowy, since you actually called how many safety cars you thought there would be as the safety car was called, pretty much, I will let you reevaluate and change your answer if you want to.
Oh, I thought I said it before there was a safety car issue coming out there, so I've got to stick by it. But okay, so I'm looking at the broadcast here, and we've got Michael Kutterjar leading Connor Nixon and Phil Vella for the top 3 of the pros. We've got Greg Bradley for the Pro-Am, and he's currently sitting 7th overall as well. So he's having a cracker. And is that Swadling and Lydon, and they're a little bit deeper. In the Swadling's 9th, and Andrew Lydon is 12th at the moment. And then we've got Cochrane, Tessiero, and Sheep are the 3 amateurs at the moment. And we have a look at Cochrane, he's running 17th at the moment, up 9 spots. Tessiero, he's up 10 spots in 18th. And Tyler Sheaf is 21st. Up 11 spots in 21st. So yeah, the boy's having a good run at the moment.
And again, it's just staying clean, staying out of the.
Of course, there might be a little bit of help from some of the guys at the pros and the pro-ams that have run into issues already. If we have a look, you can see our big losers so far: Shane Bowen, Daniel Byrne, Matty Gerard, Nathan Burney, Danny Matisic, Daniel Fritz. They're all down 10 or more laps, and Darren Fay, Mitch McIntyre
are in the pits.
They're in the pits, so they are well down, so they're going to be even further. I wonder if the grandpa Doug Gowan's got a chance to serve his drive-through before the safety car was called. He'd be certainly happy if he did.
Yeah, it says lap 1, so say
Okay, so he'll be happy for a nice little reset there. Get
Yeah.
things going again.
a couple of drivers trying to tempt fake here and bait someone into going into the pits as we're going to go another lap under safety car. We'll have a couple of minutes for the moment. Tabs that I don't need open, just in case that's drawing internet that does not need to be drawn. So I guess, I mean, off this start, just quickly, Cow, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, of course you're out there, guys, make sure you say hi. Let us know who you are supporting tonight. 36 cars out on track, 3 races. You know, this is the action that you want to see. You know, if you're a fan of sim racing, SRWtv is the place to be. We're going to see these cars bunched up all over again, and to have another crack at it. So this is round 2 of the first race.
Yeah, I mean,
Just waiting on the bell.
It's almost like an 8-round main event tonight. We're already into round 2. A couple of drivers didn't pass the first round so far, but they're going to have another crack at getting back into this thing. Of course, being that, you know, I think the inclusion of this third class now actually, it allows people to come back and actually get some good points within their class. You know, before obviously when there was only 2. If you got put to the back of the field, it was less likely for you to be able to challenge for a top spot in your class, where, you know, some of these guys, maybe an amateur if they're at the back, they're not actually too far away from the amateur field, so they can keep pushing up and just trying to come back and get into the points.
Okay, so it looks like the safety car is getting ready to pull away, just giving instructions to the drivers to maintain a constant speed, and the field has been handed back to Cutter, though he will have to wait for race control to arrive in the pits before they will release the field to his control fully. But these guys now had a little bit of a breather. We can see that the back of the field still maybe trying to need to bunch up a bit more. We're giving away a bit of time there, but look at how long that train is, buddy.
So long. There is a bit of a gap though forming probably after about the 15th car there, as they are now starting to bunch up down the back
Starting to
straight.
bunch it back up, but
Yep. The safety car is pulling away. We will be getting ready to go green once again this lap. It's Michael Cuttajar that leads the way at the moment. Where do you think he goes green, Cowy? You reckon he waits until the line, or maybe goes pit exit? Plan is from
it's going to be interesting because, you know, normally you would want to try and sort of maximise the exit of a corner, but you're going to start on the straight, so I wouldn't be surprised if he holds this right to the line. It's going to all come down to if he sees maybe Nixon break, you know, and then he can try and, but he can't do a brake check himself, so yeah, this is a bit tricky.
On the back here with Cuttajar, this is going to give us the best indication of when he goes and how well Nixon tracks him. Whether it's, if you look how close Nixon is getting here, Cuttajar's going to want to try and build a lead as best he can, remembering that the tow distance around this track is around about 1.5 seconds. So if he can build the gap up above that, then he doesn't have to worry about drafting.
He's
Holding
them a long way. This is right to the line, I think.
Yeah, I would say that is the scenario. He's gone just before one. He's caught Nixon napping slightly there. He's come up to start lap number 6.
Oh, is that Daytona making a move up the inside there of Dixon as well? No, Dixon made the move there on Daytona, I think. I was right, yep. Oh, we're looking at Vela making a move on Nixon. He's gone up the inside to take P2 now. So the battle is well and truly on. Who's that in the back there? I think that's Scotty Barton. And he's got young Bellac, Caleb Bellac on his tail as well. So there's a fair bit going on back there. Greg Bradley right in the hunt as well. And if we look behind him, Burns, Malloy, Simpson. We've got one of the Fishy Motorsports machines there. currently running P12. So and with so many cars out there, man. I mean, a top 20 finish is pretty good for some of these guys out here. But already we're seeing Bradley and Swaddling, a couple of the pro-ams inside the top 10. You know, Cochrane and Fritz and Tessuero all hovering around that top 20 as well in the M class.
These guys Fritzy Cow, he's back.
Oh, Fritzy, sorry, Sheepy, I meant. Apologies.
No, it's okay.
No, Sheepy, no, they'll getting wrong here now and again.
We all made
Something's
mistakes,
happened to
mate.
Mitch McIntosh back there.
Nixon here's the rocking spots like a fly right now. His toe is really affected. Let's check out what happened to McIntyre. So he's come up onto the bowl. This is the second incident he's had this race. Oh, and he's just locked it. What's happened there? And he's towed without permission. So I think he's actually had an issue earlier as well, the same lap.
Yeah, that's a disconnect or some device, maybe error. Oh, contact there. Yeah, that's
So he looked like he
That's
moved
what
over a little
happened.
bit. This Nixon trying to get it done onto Bono, round the outside of the horseshoe. Oh, needs to be careful with contact. That was super tight, super close. Gets the move done though, but Bono's now going to try and get the inside line onto the bowl. Backs out of it. That's a smart move from Dillon. I see how they go though, down the straight.
Scotty Barton back there, he's salivating at the moment, loving this action in front of him, hoping they'll take each other out. He's waiting there. Yeah, he does.
Good on that car.
He's in the toe here now. So, he got a little bit, a couple of scrapes on the car there.
Here he goes into the bus stop. They're too wide, both sets of battles. Nixon pops back in behind Bono there. Barton gets it done through the bus stop, but Dixon's going to have a better run. I think Barton actually has a slowdown for cutting that end of the chicane.
It looks like he got up out of the way there very quickly. That's going to be costly. Alright.
Bono's missing a front wing.
No, this looks alright.
And he's missing a front wing.
No, it looks like it's still there. I can see it's still there. I don't think he'd be driving up the front with no wing. No, that looks fine.
Oh, my end, his car is literally falling to pieces right now.
Oh, yeah,
There's
you
been
can see, I can
contact.
see it on the broadcast.
It's just
that was...
contact. There's the car that's been rolled. It's Jay Dixon.
Oh,
That is massive, Cowy, but we are within the last 5 minutes. We will not get a safety car in this race, I would say. He should be given permission to tow, but that was absolutely huge. We're going to get a replay of it.
that car's not going anywhere. He's going to try and get. Oh, he is, but it's going to crab. Oh, looks like he might get it back. Right, here we go. So there's a little bit of contact there. Oh, so that was DeBono and Nixon have made contact, and then Nixon's flown into Dixon, and he's pirouetted and spun him, and done what, about an 8.7, I reckon. Messed up that landing.
I'll tell you what, this is going to go out to Steve when he rewatches this to get highlights. Make sure you have that in a highlights package. That is probably one of the wildest crashes I have ever seen in a sim racing race like this. That was absolutely diabolical. And now Dixon, well, he's got his... he's almost got the oval aero for an Indy car going at the moment, because they, for a while there, weren't actually running rear wings when they were on oval circuits.
I don't think that is going to be handling very good.
No, I would agree with you.
He's in private at the moment, and so it may well be that he may well try to drive it around and stay out there. We've already got 3 guys in the pits. But as we see time and time again, Phil Vella seems to be able to survive the moments around him, and inevitably ends up at the front. Well, we know he's got the pace to get there, so we're not talking about that, but he just seems to be one of those guys that's able to stay clear of fallout and danger week after week.
Yeah, I don't know how. He's just Mr. Consistent every single week. During all that carnage as well with Jay Dixon, we actually missed a couple of incidents with Mark Cochran and Stephen Brooks. So these guys were coming up onto the aftermath of this incident. He came round, Cochran locked up a little bit. What's he done here? He's pirouetted around mid-corner. He's been contacted Stephen there, so not as bad as what we thought. Cars darted everywhere just to get out of the way. I would say if that was any other point in the race, there probably would have been a safety car, but you know, 5 minutes to go, they can't really call it. So, but
I think everyone got going there.
Oh yeah.
Somehow Dixon managed to get that back to the pits, I think, or he's still going.
He's
still driving around.
He came in.
Oh, yeah, the pits.
Yeah, I wonder if they. Although his pit lane travel time was only like 13 seconds, so I'm not sure. It's rather interesting. Oh, he's got a new car, so I'd say he's
fixed. Yeah, he's got it fixed.
Cutter takes the lead of this race. I reckon this is going to be white flag lap, Cowy, as we come up through turn 1. Velo loses the lead, but I'd say he actually has the advantage now because he's actually going to have the toe on the final lap.
Wow. That toe is massive, so I think you almost want to be behind, you know, coming out of the bus stop and charging hard. So it'll be interesting to see how Phil plays this.
I think he's smart. He's smart enough to know that, so he might know just to kind of sit behind him at the moment and then go for that advantage.
Oh yeah, Michael might play some games as well and let him through going into the bus stop. So you know, there's two ways or many ways to skin a cat, I suppose, and certainly comes to the way these guys are going to take their racing here, and you know, we'll see how just on this first short section works. See him closing up.
Velo is lifting, so he's actually being smart about this, and he's kind of hanging back. So he knows that he's going to have the advantage on the exit of the bus stop. This could be an absolute nail-biting into this race.
Cutter just like threw it through there like a slingshot. Velo charging hard. Has he timed it perfectly? Look at this run.
Let's go on board with Velo, see how much run he can get up to the line. I think he may have this, Cowy, and I think Cutter knows it here.
Oh, Cutter's gone low to try and get it back. And it is Velo. Look at that.
Super close. Barton, though, comes home P3. We haven't seen that for a fair while.
Yeah, no, good to see Scotty back racing.
Ballack P5 for the pros. Pro-Ams, though, it appears Greg Bradley has come home P1. The opening race for the Pro-Am. Simpson P2, Swaddling P3.
That's a great recovery from. That was a great recovery from Adam Simpson too. You know, so he's up in chunk places, up 11 spots in a P8 and P2 in the Pro-Am. Sheepy takes out the AMs, does he?
Yeah.
With a 15 spots in 17th. That is an awesome drive from Sheepy, race 1. Now, unfortunately, these boys aren't going to get much time to sit back and enjoy the spoils of race number 1, because we're going to flow straight in to the second race, or I think in a minute or so.
Yeah, it won't be much time at all, Cowy. So, I believe though. Is it a reverse top 10 for the first race and then a reverse top 5 for the second?
Top 10 and 5 for the final race. That's correct, buddy. Yep. So that will switch things up, and we'll put a couple of Pro-Am guys up near the front. So I'll let you do the grid, buddy, because it's not coming up for me at all. And you did an awesome job without taking much of a breath there when you read it out at the start. So.
Well, we'll have to be quick with it for this one here, because I'm not sure how much gridding time we actually have for this race. So Chris Swaddling will start out on pole here tonight, just ahead of Sean Malloy out of P2. Adam Simpson will start out of P3 with Greg Bradley in behind out of P4. Dwayne Burns will then start out of P5. Caleb Ballack will start out of P6 for Velocity SimLab. Dylan DeBona will start out of P7, just ahead of Scott Barton out of P8. With Michael Cutter coming home and starting in P9. Phil Vella will then start out of P10 here tonight, and then the rest of the grid, well, it's just a continuation of the results from the last race. So Lydon and Pocock down to Johnston, Hudson, Nixon, Hodgkinson, Sheaf, Gardner, Byrne, Johnson. That's the top 20. Then we got Bowen, Bartish, Gowans, Brooks, Cochrane, Matisic, Fahey, Fritz, Gerard, Verney. That's the top 30. Sinkovich, Wakefield, Dixon, Tessiero, McIntyre, Loretti. That is the grid for this race. And
Matt Tessiero must have got caught up in that action at the back there because he was running P2 in the AMs and run at about 20th, and he's now well back at 35th. So, you know, you keep an eye on the grid and all those placings, but we see how quickly things can change, you know, with one little incident, and sometimes, you know, it doesn't even have to be your fault, unfortunately.
So what's going to be interesting about this race, Cowy, is how well Dixon can do coming up through the field from the back of the grid. So obviously we know Vela and Katajar, those guys can get up the front from the back of the top 10. But it's now going to be how well does Dixon race through the whole field, and how far up can he get before race number 3 here tonight. So this is not going to be good for his championship hopes, finishing P33 in the last race. But it could be very interesting in terms
Adrian
of...
Loretti's back there as well.
Yep.
I think, you know, if you look, Nathan Verney, one of the pro-ams, maybe Gerard, some of our pro-ams that are deep in the field as well. So, you know, there's a bit of shuffling of the order after race number 1. And as you said, buddy, we might see some skill. Keep an eye on that mid-pack, because I think we might see a few of these guys making some moves.
So that is where Dixon starts compared to the leader. He is back pretty much at the pit entry. So that is now the space that he has to try and gain back to get up the front.
5-6 seconds before you even start the race, at least from back there.
Yeah.
So, you know, and we, you know, as usual, mate, we see how close the times are between these guys when they get going. But tonight, it's all about the draft. We saw there in race number 1, Phil Vela time to perfection. I think again, we're going to see guys look to try and position themselves to be second when you come into that final corner. All right, they are off for race number 2 here at Shannons. 43 Nationals, good start from our front 3. I think also, if we have a look at the back there, I think Fritzy got a good start.
But he's already up in P6, up 2 spots.
Yes, I think with Adam Simpson. Adam Simpson fighting hard there as well, putting a bit of pressure on Bradley. I think, and he might get that job out on the inside there. And Malloy. So it is Chris Swadling that leads the field away from Sean Malloy. There's contact in the back there. I think that's Connor Nixon, is it?
It is Connor Nixon.
He's got caught up. Is there damage on that car? We're going to have a quick look and see what happened to him.
Turn number 3. Inside the corner.
He's just got on a little bit too hard. Yep, and he's held his brakes, so everyone's got around him nice and cleanly, I think. Ooh, it's a bit scary there.
Very lucky not being collected.
I think that was Bruce White that showed a bit of evasive action there, or maybe one of the JMK boys there. Greg Johnson, Steve Brooks have had a moment as well. So that's what happens. You look at one thing and you quickly see other incidents. All right, and I think we may well have safety car coming out. So something's happened there back that has caused a safety car, buddy. We've missed it. I think it might have been Brooks and Johnston.
It's an entry to the bowl. Bartish on the inside.
Oh, okay.
Sheaf. Oh, it was contact with Sheaf, who'd already spun round. So you see it in the background there. That's what started.
Yep.
Sheafy then needs a tow. And I think that's what's caused our safety car to come out on this lap. And I believe it has come out on the track. So, well,
I was wrong. You're already on wood, buddy.
It's a bit tight at the moment. I will say that. It's a bit tight. Let's hope for a clean race 3. But we made it even.
We talked about the difficulty of that transition point there, buddy, when you go from flat to the oval, and these cars so sensitive to bumps in the rear, and when you're trying to put the power down, and you know it's a bumpy transition. We saw there that was that Sheepy got in trouble with it, and you know, contact results, and you know, not long into this second race, and the field's still bunched up. So you get something like that. It's almost, you know, pot luck to see if you avoid it sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's... I mean, they did really well to avoid Connor Nixon. And then I know it's somewhat blind of a corner when you come out there. Even in any other car, doesn't just necessarily have to be F3, but any other car, that corner is super difficult to keep the car straight and narrow and not spun as you actually come through that transitional period of circuit. Yeah, very, very easy. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's a prototype, a supercar, or a GT or whatever, very, very easy to lose the rear there just based on the change of direction with the undulation up onto the bowl, plus also the change of like tarmac under the car, because you're going from a more... Oh, sorry.
We said Chris Swadling got caught up in that as well, buddy, because he's down a whole chunk of positions as well.
There's nothing on here about him getting caught. He went off circuit. So where did he go off the circuit? Let's see here. Let's have a look here just quickly. How did he end up off
The
the
safety car's about to pull away, so...
Oh,
yeah, because he was leading. That's right. Oh!
Yeah.
And... Oh, how the leaders missed him there, how Malloy missed him, I have no idea. But that's what happened, I thought, yeah, because he's down 28 positions, and I'm trying to work out, where is he? Yeah, he was leading the race.
He was.
So that's how easy it is to do that, and that would have been, you know, just before that safety car call, so he's watched it, so the fact the safety car had come out maybe has helped him, but a lot of positions, down a lot of positions.
So you see here, Malloy, Bellac, these are the top two at the moment. Bellac is eager to try and get past him as early as possible. You see he was kind of strafing down the side of Malloy's car, just trying to get any advantage you can. Look at how close he is getting. Malloy is backing them up all the way to the line, it seems. When is he going to go off this restart?
I think they've all worked out that, you know, the draft just too much of an advantage. So they're holding it right. And now he goes.
Malloy has gone. So I'm not sure why it's put Pro-Ams back at the top.
Oh, it's that Barton and Bono fight there in P 4 and 5. Looks like the Bono's come through ahead, is he? Oh no, Adam Simpson's got in that fight and he's the one that's jumped through. Look at this, Vela in on the action as well, Burns in there, Barton.
This guy's fighting tooth and
Adrian Loretti black flag because he did not serve a penalty in race 1. Oh no, so he's well down at the moment, Loretti, and he's going to be even further down.
He's gone into the pits, so I believe he's had a bit of an issue. He's gone off track and then he's towed without permission, so that may be the last we see of Loretti here tonight. But look at this battle on hand. It is Barton versus the Bono versus Simpson. This battle is just heating up Cowy as we come up around the bowl, halfway around lap number 3.
Parada Adam Simpson, Pro-Am driver, up and running right in the middle of all the pros. Andrew Johnson back in P9 as well, so that's another Pro-Am right inside the top 10. So these guys, you know, maybe benefiting from the reverse top 10, but put themselves in a position where they can battle. And, you know, give them a draft, buddy, and you can see here, just as quick, look at this run that Barton's getting going around the outside, contact. Oh, good thing that was in between and not wheel to wheel, I think. So close.
That now puts Scott Barton P3, just ahead of the Bono P4 here for the class.
Cutter fighting back there now for P7, P8. And those two, looks like Cutter fighting off Vela. Vela went to go, so he's gone deep.
And that could cost him heavily here. This could have massive championship
He's
done well. It could have massive championship implications there as well, because although he has, you know, pretty much 12 minutes to make spots back up, if Cutter can keep this clean, it's going to be a massive haul of points for him compared to Vela, who's currently P14 overall, P9 in class. You know, those two boys are really championship contenders.
Yeah, Vela has a 53-point advantage at the moment over his teammate Jay Dixon. He's got about 69 over Kalajar, so yeah, Kalajar he's happy to see Jay Dixon well deep in the pack, and also Vela behind him. Where is Dixon at the moment? He did say he's going to be able to fight P18, so he's up 15 spots at the moment. Doing a good fight back here in race number 2.
He's P12 in class, P18 overall. Just behind Doug Gowans at the moment, so he is trying to move like a man on a mission right now. He's just trying to make up as many spots as he can. So he's got Nixon about 3 seconds behind him. Of course, we saw Nixon have to wait. Nothing Nixon on turn 1, but look at the run that Dixon has got here down the straight. He's got nowhere to go though. Absolute roadblock ahead of him here. He's decided to follow the grandpa Doug Gowans on the outside line. This may not work out the best for him though. Just backs out of it. That's a smart choice.
Yeah, I think so. He's going to try and see if he can sweep up the inside here and get one or two of them. But while these boys are fighting, they're making that track really, really congested. You can see at the moment, again, getting caught on the outside. So it's pretty good defensive driving there from the grandpa, Doug Gowans, and see Daniel Byrne, one of the pros, in amongst there as well. So, you know, there's certainly plenty of experience. Jay's carved his way through the AMs and the majority of the pro-AMs. Now he's got a few pros to deal with.
There's been an incident. Mark Cochran, Nathan Gardner, these guys have been involved. It's on the main straight. You can see them here. These guys are in a tightly contested battle. Bit of contact, and that is going to be heavy into the wall.
Wheel interlocked. We saw before there with the leaders that there wasn't a wheel interlock. It was sort of tire into the sideboard, so they got away with it. Whereas there you can see the wheel interlock dragged him off, and looks like Steven Sigovic's taken advantage of that, and he's up a few positions now as well, up 6.
Kevin Wakefield's had an issue here, up onto, he's caught that curb.
Small line.
And I reckon that's what Sheafy must have done when he had his spin earlier. I reckon he caught that curb on the outside. Very, very easy to do. It just undulates the car and really is just so easy to spin it round there. So it's, you know, it's not necessarily a rookie mistake. It's just a mistake.
Burns flying through here. Look at this. Burns and Kalajar getting a massive double toe there. Oh, he's moved 1 spot, so it's a nice move from Burns on Caleb Bellac there. But Debono defending it. Kalajar closing right up again now.
This is an intensifying battle. There's battles all over the circuit at the moment, Cowy, and no one is willing to give anything up whatsoever. We go back to see what was happening with Dixon here. He's now picked Hodgkinson as well, so he's now up to P17. Gowans is defending hard.
Yep. Oh, no, contact!
That was big contact.
Yeah, I don't know if Doug got a bit unsettled there in the braking. It didn't look like Jay moved over or anything. Just, That'll be an interesting one for race control to have a look at. Looks like he's avoided too much damage to that car, but I would say you'd probably have at least some sort of steering problem after that sort of impact. Doug Edwards is getting lapped there as well, so I think his car's hurting quite significant as well. So yeah. It'll be an interesting one. Well, we'll have to leave it for race control because, buddy, we are in a super sprint situation, and mate, if we spend too much time looking at one thing, we're going to miss 20 others.
No, that's exactly right, Cowy.
There is so much going on at the moment. At the moment, it is Sean Malloy that has got about a 1.1 second lead over Scott Barton in P2. DeBono is about a second behind him, but you know, all these guys close enough that the toe, you know, can bunch this up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, I think Malloy with Barton a second behind him here. Barton is still in tow range, as mentioned. So if Malloy wants to kind of secure this win, he needs to try and gain about half a second. The tow range is 1.5 seconds around here. So Barton still has somewhat of an advantage over Malloy because he is now able to push and kind of just sit behind him and wait for the right moment to get that move done. Although he also has to worry about Dylan Tabono in behind, who we know has been incredibly pacey all season. And he is hoping to get onto the top step of the podium here at Daytona.
Well, we could go back to 10th spot before we find more than a 5-second spread. So, you know, the top 10s are racing quite close together here and all taking advantage of, you know, Kevin Wakefield there, and I think he might be missing a wing front wing after that, but we'll see. Had a bit of a moment there after T1, so it looks like T2, T3 there. But we've got moves happening mid-pack. Nathan Gardner, Connor Nixon, Danny Matisic. There's stuff going on all around these boys at the moment. There's Steven Sinkovic in the middle of that mess as well. I shouldn't say mess because it's just a great battle of cars here at the moment. I think it's a little bit ahead of him, the battle with Gerard and Hodgkinson and Bernie in and around there. So these boys are battling hard. Here it is. So that's Matty Gerard. Is that Nixon going around the outside of him? So Jay Nixon on a bit, Connor Nixon I should say, trying to make a bit of recovery after his spin at the start of this race. He's done pretty good now. He's only 2 spots off his starting position, buddy, and he would have been pretty much last after that spin. It was a great fight back from Connor.
Yeah, he's done well. He's really pushing up the order again, although he's P17 overall. There's only 2 spots from P10 where he started in. Well, he was P10 overall in the race. So that was roughly, I think, P8, I want to say, maybe P7 in class where he started.
I'm saying here that he's down a couple of spots on where he started, so I think he got caught up as well, didn't he?
I think it's currently reading that he's down from where he started in class, possibly. Because Dixon is up 19. So I'm not sure.
Well, at the moment we are watching Scott Dixon put pressure, and that is Scott Pocock in front of him there, and already getting a big draft there. But Scott, you don't have to worry, buddy. Just sitting behind him to get that toe back, and you might be able to fight again at him. And look at that already, you know, able to slot straight back into the toe because Jay got such an early run on him. So we'll see if Scotty decides to go up the inside here at T1. Thinks better of it. Looks like he's Jay defended that line nicely there and didn't really give him an opening. So we'll look a bit further ahead there. Who's that? Is that someone making a bit at the inside? I think that's Bellac. Is it? No, that's Nixon. Was it? No, sorry, I apologise. It was Bellac and Bowen and Johnson battling there as well. I saw sort of the, what do we call that, aquamarine, that colour there of Bellac's. And I saw a red car and thought that was Nixon, so I apologise there. But
from a distance, Bellac's car almost looks like one of the AMG F1 cars.
Yeah, it's that aquamarine colour that they had. So have a look, Andrew. Lydon right in the hunt here for Kittens Racing as well. But you know, this big pack battle, these boys, I think they would be enjoying tonight. Just the draft sort of bringing him back into it. Each one you can see here, Lydon, the draft going around the outside. We'll have to see how Bellac plays this. Okay. Oh, it's contact. He's done well to hold that. And I think that is Dixon is going to get a nice slingshot on him as a result. But I think that's some pretty good driving from Bellac. It's happened to me as well before in the F3s, buddy, in the moment. You hit that car in front, the rear end goes on you. So that was a really good save. Quite difficult to do so too. Oh, look at this. Pocock, Bellac, Byrne, back there, Gerard.
Oh, Scotty Barton's had to come into the pits. He's dropped him out of contention. Why does he have to come into the pits for? I don't know. There's nothing on my screen saying why, unless he popped the penalty for some reason.
Yeah, no, black flag. So he's doing a drive-through penalty, so there must be contact there. Yeah. I mean, look, we know, it's never intentional. I might have got black flagged again last night myself, buddy. I didn't have a great night. But, racing hard and super sprints, I think, we're seeing the guys maybe, take a few chances. We get the opportunity to look at a few of the guys that normally aren't in contention. But then we look at someone like Sean Malloy, who started on pole here and he's just running away with it at the moment. That gap's out to 1.6. Or Sinkovic running a bit deep there, but he's recovered and kept it going. But he lost a few spots with the earlier spin, I think.
McIntyre's at least still struggling out there. Turn number 4, you see there, just loses the rear end.
Just getting on the gas a little bit too early.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things. You watch the pro guys and you say, wow, they're getting on the gas so much. Really, I can get on the gas then. But the thing that they've done that you haven't thought of is that they've already got the rotation out of the steering wheel, so that when they are applying the gas, the car's going straight.
It might not
remember
even
when it comes down to. Well, I was going to say when it comes down to it. Remember, the way to think of a race tyre is you've got 100% that you can use. So you can either use it all for braking, or you can use it all for turning, or a combination thereof of speed and turning or braking. So, but it can only add up to 100. The moment you set it to 102, that's when it starts to slide.
Well, those pro guys may also be running a different throttle curve as well on their throttle program, which then allows them to get the power down differently. And that power output can then change, whether it's a fixed setup series or not. It can then actually, it's the one thing that you can control is basically how your car's power is being, outfitted. So.
Also, there a Dave Cam video earlier this week about some new set of pedals that are out that have got launch control on the pedals as well.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so, look, I suppose there's innovations and, some people might call them cheats, I suppose. Again, are you cheating if you use a direct drive racing against someone who's using a G27? Maybe. That's certainly an advantage.
I wouldn't say it's cheating, I would just say it's a difference in equipment.
Yeah, I know, but in a fixed setup series and then you can have different equipment. I suppose it's the one thing that, I suppose it's not quite pay to win, but you can definitely get a more immersive experience, with a deeper wallet, I suppose, when it comes to sim racing. All right, buddy, we must be getting near the end of this race, as Malloy has thrown it off. So I think he's already finished, and that is the end of race number 2 here for the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals. Remember, it is a super sprint triple header tonight, 3 20-minute races, and you can see how quickly things can happen when you're, sitting there listening to us jibber jabber over the comms.
Someone has asked us in chat how did Bono take someone out in race 1. It's not a question to ask us, it's a question to ask race control. They're the ones that make the decisions. We're the ones that just show it on screen for you. So that's really all we can say about it, isn't that right, Cowy?
Well, look, that's it. Look, in the end, I don't, knowing Dylan too, nothing, it wouldn't have been deliberate if something happened either. It's just hard racing. And look, sometimes, race control calls can go 50-50. I know certainly I've felt that I've done nothing wrong, and then you look back at the replay and you see something wrong. So, it is one of those things. And race control, it's 36 cars out there. It's action-packed 20-minute sprint races. There's 3 of them. I think they'll probably be going through, still writing out the list later tonight of all the incidents.
Yeah, I think it's and it's normally quite a long night for them after a heavy incident or an incident-heavy race, I guess you could say. So. They're very hard-working in that sense. I can see Scott Barton is in the waiting room for RC, so he obviously wants to have a chat with them about his penalties. So could be some news regarding that possibly coming our way. But, now we can get ready for race 3, Cowy, and it's literally a reverse top 5 of that one.
Yeah, well, that puts that Darren Fay that's ended
Actually,
up
I think
at the top.
it might be a
No.
reverse grid. Oh, it's a warm-up session. That's why it's a warm-up
Yeah,
session.
so it's the grid source. The guys get to. Well, you can't really fiddle with the setup, but perhaps if there's a corner out there that's troubling you, you might be able to put a bit of more work into it. There is a bit of chat in the there's the boys having a bit of a chat, and they're talking about some of the contact that happened there. Of course, until you get a chance to look at replays, as a driver, it's probably a best thing to maybe stay on the lowdown and not really talk about it, because again, there is a little 10-minute warm-up here, so maybe a few of the boys checking it out and having a chat. I suppose, wouldn't be a night of sim racing without some controversy, buddy. But that's part of why, the guys are so passionate about their racing,
Well, I mean, you got to be. We're all passionate in our own way, aren't we, Cowy, when it comes to our sim racing journey? And some of the biggest leagues in Australia have some of the most passionate drivers in the league, strictly because they want to be able to do well, they want to be able to compete at a high level, and sometimes they feel that they've been wronged in some way when they've been given a penalty. But sometimes it is better just to kind of remember, just take the tactical L sometimes. Take your ego out of it.
You don't really have a choice here at SRW. You can't talk back to race control. You've got to wear it. There is a ticket system that you can put in where they'll have independent people come in and look at the incident. So there's no favoritism or anything. But again, it's sort of one of those things. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, we push a little too hard. Sometimes, we don't see it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I made contact with a car last night and didn't even feel it. So.
And sometimes as well, it's very easy to claim it's not your fault when you've only got one view on it, right? So when you're in the car and you're driving and an incident happens, it's very easy to say it's not your fault when you can't look at it from all angles at that point. But then when you look at it from all angles, sometimes, it is better just to kind of reevaluate and think, is this actually my fault or is it not? Sometimes you can determine that it's not your fault. Other times, you just got to be able to admit that maybe you were wrong just because you didn't know any better at that point in time when you made that claim.
Be an honest mistake too, so one of the things, and I say it, the further and further you go up the tree, the faster that the cars get, the faster that the drivers get. The closer you are to pushing your personal limits. So the moment you're trying to do that in a race, that's when you're right on the edge of making a mistake. And you can see it in various stages where you see that maybe those guys that are really, really quick are the ones that are able to drive at 98% and be as quick as the guys that you have to do 100% to get to that pace. And that's where that difference is. How much do you hold back? How much do you drive within yourself to look after the car? And then you've got that second stage of looking after the tyres, making sure they last. You don't want to burn them up too early. One of the great things about motor racing is there's lots of different nuances that make up this package. We've seen before Michael Cuttajar really fast at some tracks, and then we've seen him fall away at the end of a race because he's driven the car really hard, the tyres have got nothing left. So, that's one of the things that I love about even sim racing, watching sim racing as well as real life racing, is you get to see how they play out. F1s were at Kota last week, buddy, and that very much became a strategy-based race. So, sprints, well, there's no pit stops, we don't have to think about that stuff now, but still, we've seen the strategy play out in race number 1 there, with Vela setting up the draft for the last lap.
Yeah, you don't necessarily, strategy is a more blanket term in racing. A lot of people think of strategy as your fuel strategy or your pit strategy, but you also remember that in strategy there's also how you actually tackle a track, or how you tackle a lap, or how you tackle trying to get overtakes done. All of that encompasses within your strategy when you're coming up to a race weekend or an evening of racing, because you are planning and you're making a strategic call on what is actually going to be best for my night of racing, whether it's your fuel strategy, how you're going to tackle making overtakes, as I said, or again, how you're actually going to tackle this track and get the most grip out of the car you possibly can. So there's a lot of things that kind of come into balance to make it the best possible strategy that there is, and sometimes one portion of strategy doesn't work.
Coming back full circle, you know, and again, it comes down to sometimes the level of the commitment of some of these guys and how much are they prepared to send it and push it hard. And then, you know, as you said, you know, the decision of when to make a move, when to take advantage of. Sometimes those situations and opportunities present themselves immediately. Guy makes a little mistake, gets a poor exit, you can make a move, so you go for it straight away. Other times you need to set that move up, and you need to maybe sit behind the guy and have a look to see where he's strong, where are you stronger, where can you know, work out, because you're so close, where can you get him, where is the toe going to play it. And we saw it then in race number 1, when Phil knew that he had to stay back from him going into the bus stop so he could get a good run, and he almost laid off to make sure he got it the best exit possible out of the bus stop to be able to you know, run cutter jar down there at the line.
I mean, and again, like, you know, we even called it out. We said his plan here may be to wait and pick the perfect time to do it. And we know that Phil is a driver that likes to do that, as we just sit on board with Scott Pocock for a lap while we talk about this. But yeah, I mean, again, you know, we talk about strategy. Tonight's racing is not about the pre-thought up strategy, is only about fuel. It's more or less about how you tackle the circuit, and again, how you tackle making overtakes. So, you know,
liability in it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you want to be able to heighten your ability to survive and to be consistent. And again, coming up with those positive strategies is only going to help you.
Yeah, I try and grow that eyes in the back of your head for a couple of races around this place.
You do need it, to be fair. Yep, you do need it, especially if you're racing
24 hours here where, done a couple, man, where, you know, especially that corner back there, I think more than once I've seen an LMP or a GT3 car come flying across the grass and make contact with someone there.
Oh, I've been in races where you come into the bus stop, a GTP or an LMP2 goes for a move, and then suddenly they're on their roof by the end of the bus stop because they've pushed too hard. So, but you can see just the pace discrepancy, although Stephen's letting past now. But you can just see the speed that they carry down the straight. Now, yes, it doesn't compare to very deep, nice and smooth too, but it doesn't compare to the speed, obviously, that's carried by prototypes around this track. But it is a little bit comparative to, it's actually comparative to the GT3s based on their lap times. These guys are actually setting similar lap times to what GT3s set around here, so maybe a little bit slower, but it's actually not too far off that pace.
You can see how he just tried to straighten out that bus stop as much as he could, using all of the road there. And I mean, again, that's the difference between jumping on board with, say, one of the pros here, and if we can jump on board with one of the AM drivers and have a look at their lines for a minute or so. Jump on board with Stephen here, and you'll see a lot more sort of steering input.
You can see here he's kind of he's predetermining the turn in on the corner there under brakes.
Probably, yeah. You'll notice there'll be what probably doesn't use quite as much as the track. Quite a shallow entry here because he's got Vernie in front of him.
You see there, just the correction mid-corner.
Yep, I saw it too. We both mentioned it. Going to mention it at the same time.
And I think that's actually what can do you in at this track, is those corrections mid-corner in this car.
He's done pretty good for himself around that section though, Stephen.
He has. So
and now he's going to sit in behind Vernie and get a bit of a tow here.
Get a nice little
make this lap look better than it should be.
But yeah, I think that might actually be one of the things that actually gets the amateurs compared to the pro-ams or the pros, is those corrections mid-corner. This car does not like corrections mid-corner because it relies on you being smooth and you keeping the grip at its level. If you are correcting mid-corner too much and you're doing kind of sharp corrections, that can actually what leads to the car getting underweight or unweighted and then spinning or, you know, veering off into a wall because it doesn't like that. So they're the, you know, sorts of little tidbits that I think we may be able to notice between some of these drivers here tonight.
Buddy, well, we are gridding up for the final race of tonight's triple header. This is the Formula 3 Shannons Nationals. Sorry, Shannons Formula Nationals. I say it properly. But it's been awesome. Daytona Road. It's shown those elements we hoped it would tonight. The draft has been super important. We saw that play out for race 1. We've seen the damage and contact play out for race 2. We saw, was that, who was it? Apologies. Sean Malloy managed to stay clear of the field to take out race number 2. So we saw two sort of different styles there. One guy made sure he got far enough ahead and held that gap to the end. First race, it was all about staying in second and close enough to make the move at the line. All right, buddy, there's the grid. You better call it out if you got time.
Well, I have just scrolled through it, to be fair. The only changes off our finishing positions for the last race, though, is the top 5. But the grid for this race, just quickly here. Phil Vella starts at a pole, just ahead of Michael Cuttajar in P2. Dwayne Burns will start at a P3, just ahead of Dylan DeBono at a P4. Sean Malloy will then start at a P5, with Adam Simpson just in behind in P6. Then we've got Greg Bradley at a P7, with Jay Dixon starting at a P8. Shane Bowen will start at a P9, with Andrew Johnston making up the top 10. We then have Bellac and Pocock in behind. Byrne and Nixon in 13th to 14th. Gerard making up the top 15. We've got Vernie, Hodgson, Barton, Lydon and Hudson making up the top 20. Matisich, McIntyre, Tessiero, Fahey and Bartish making up top 25. Gardner, Sinkovich, Fritz, Johnston and Gowans making up the top 30. Then Tyler Sheaf, Cochran, Brooks, Swadling, Wakefield and Loretti is the rest of the grid for this one here tonight. Race number 3 of 3. Not long to go for this one, Cowy. It's well, we've seen action within the first 5 laps.
There's 4 pro-ams up there inside the top 10, and I think we saw 2 or 3 ams inside the top 20. So we've got a few bolters there that have you know, had some good results in race number 2. Of course, you know, tonight's points are all based off of all 3 rounds. I believe that all 3 are the same points. That this feature might be worth a little more.
Yes, I believe from memory the features are normally worth just a little bit more. It appears as well, Cowy, that we may be under lights here for the 3rd race. I think we may be in the dark. It does appear to be so due to the lighting, but we will find out. Lights are going up though. We are getting ready to go racing here out at Daytona. Race number 3. Who's going to get the jump off the start? Nice little start there from Vella. Cuttajar follows him as well as Burns. The top 3 getting a good start here off the line. There's already been contact in behind.
That's Stephen Brooks. Brad Hudson, Kevin Wakefield, I think got caught up in that as well. We are, and look at there's congestion there at T2 and T3 as well. But I think there wasn't any contact. Yep, safety car's been called already, buddy. So we should have said 3. What's happened here? So someone's got to wiggle off the line there.
Oh, there was pre-contact.
It was ahead. It was ahead. So we need to look a little bit further ahead. We didn't see who it was.
Actually, no, it's this one here. Sorry, the wrong one.
Alright, here we go.
He was Scotty Barton. I believe it's contact with Andrew Johnston. So they come up here. Oh yeah, Johnston's already gone into the wall. And he had nowhere to go.
So who's that that's gone into the wall in front of them? Was that Johnson?
Andrew Johnston. So what's he done here off the start? Has he lit it up? And then it's just punched him into the wall.
Flicked it up into the wall. Yep.
That's exactly what's happened.
And unfortunately, yeah.
Nowhere to
go. Hudson and Wakefield, I think got caught up in that as well. At least that it's happened right at the start, and they will get a chance. There was a couple contact down the bottom there. Was that Swadling as well? Oh, look at that pirouetting car.
So I mean, what's funny is each of the races here tonight, Cowy, I mean, it's not that funny, obviously, because of the drivers being taken out of a race. But what's funny is each race, we've cut it in half by what lap number it was we actually got a safety car. So race 1, we got it on lap 4. Race 2 was lap 2.
Yeah.
This one was, well, not even lap 1. It's counting it as lap 0 on the SDK timing because they hadn't even crossed the line. But, yeah, just incredible that it can happen that quickly. But, yeah, under safety car.
We did talk about at the start of tonight's race that will the banked starting position catch anyone out? Well, there's your answer. It took 2 races, so maybe one of those situations where got the start really good the first race, got it even better the second race, so then pushed a little bit more the third race, and that little bit too much that got him that wheel spin and flicked the car up. Well, there it is, buddy. Thought it would happen.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting that off the start. I mean, 3 races in, maybe race 1, but not race number 3. But we are going to go racing under lights here once the safety car does come in. I think this is one of the only few tracks that we actually can go racing under lights in these cars because the whole track is actually lit up, Cowy. So that is the bonus of racing at Daytona, is you can go racing when it's dark with cars that don't have headlights.
All right, so it looks like the safety car is pulling in this lap, I think.
Well, they're on the first bold corner.
Shoulder.
That's the first bold corner. So they haven't even come through the bus stop yet. So I would say he does come in.
Down below the lines.
Yeah, I'd say he will be coming in this lap because the majority of the field is now back out on track, apart from Brad Hudson. But a little bit of chopping and changing of positions. So
I know he is. Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, he's crossed back up. Well, it's Vela, Cuttajar, Burns, DeBono, Malloy, your top 5. Adam Simpson, the leading Pro-Am driver, running P6 at the moment. And then it's Bradley Dixon, Bellac, and Shane Bowen around out the top 10. We go back to, is it Matt Tessiero? No. McIntyre, the leading AM driver. Mitch McIntyre. Yeah.
P18 overall at the moment.
Yeah, doing well to be inside the top 20. I mean, really, that's the goal of these guys overall is going to be, if you're a pro, you want to be inside the top 10. If you're a pro-am, well, if you can be inside the top 10, that's going to be awesome. If you're an AM, inside the top 20 is probably going to be, awesome. Inside the top 15 is going to be really your goal. So, I mean, even though we do have the 3 classes and that, these guys are used to racing with each other. And I know that when you're out there on track, you're not necessarily thinking about where's your nearest rival in your class. It's more about the car on track in front of you. Chase him down and keep the one behind you.
So we are actually going to go an extra lap under safety car here, Cowy, probably just to let majority of the field catch back up as Bradley Hudson is now coming back out of pits. But, so
I think you're right there, buddy, given the guys that unfortunately got caught up at the start there, a chance to get back onto the back of this pack. Fast prepare used, and hopefully it doesn't cost them too much.
Yeah, well, I think they're on. Apart from Brad, they're all on the lead lap. He has now come out of the pit, so he is at least ahead of the pack, but he is 2 laps down now. Or he will be 2 laps down whenever they get past him. So. That's not what he's going to want, but Stephen Brooks comes into the pits, so not sure why he's had to come in. Maybe he's still carrying a little bit of damage.
A little bit of damage, maybe use that blast repair, but you think if you're going to do that, you would have used it nice and early.
Yeah.
Because if you do it in the train, it's just going to throw you right to the back, as he's about to find out. Alright, well, I'd say we are probably going to go green after this lap. I just missed what race control had to say there. But, man,
I would say that's true.
I was going to say it's lived up to its reputation, the expectations. Here, Daytona, it was always going to be a tricky track for these cars. Add that starting on the banking, standing start. We saw that play out in this race. But we've seen those other elements. The tow has been super effective. We've also seen, the last being second last lap to take advantage of that tow. We've also seen in race number 2, Sean Malloy just get to the front and run away with it and let the guys behind him battle for the minors. So we've got about 15 minutes or 14 minutes left of this motor race to find out how this one plays out, but it is the usual players right up the front. Dwan Burns, after a good round a couple of weeks ago, he's back up battling right at the pointy end as well, so that's great to see.
Yeah, Dwayne up into P2. Cuttajar lost a spot off the start to him. How funny is it though, Cowy? We go 3 races here tonight, and at the start of the 3rd race, we have Cuttajar and Vela at the front. They always just find a way to get there, don't they?
Yeah. I think some of these guys, you offer up a reverse grid, then they know exactly where they need to position themselves to take advantage and set up the rest of the night. So, and all right, so has Vela gone already?
No, the safety car's only just pulled away, so he'll have to wait anyway, I would say, till the actual control line, which
Maybe
is
it was
at
a
the pit
smart
entry.
play of what he did then, though, accelerating through the bus stop to prevent any concertina effects, so it might actually been a little friendly thing to do for the rest of the field to help them out in that case.
Yeah, I
All
would
right,
say
is he
so.
going to hold it right to the line? We've seen that seems to be the strategy tonight.
It has been working out for the leaders. I'd have to double check and think back. I don't know if every single person who's led after a restart has actually gone on to win the race.
So far? No. I think it wasn't it Cuttajar that led it away in race number 1? I think Malloy led it race number 2 and won race number 2. But I think it was Cuttajar that controlled it for race number 1. Vela's the man in control now, and he's holding it right up. You can see that Michael's got his nose out here, and Vela's gone. You can see Michael got his nose out then because he thought that maybe Burns would get caught, and Burns did. And now he's going to put himself up the inside, and Daytona's going to take advantage of this as well if he can.
That would have been a play there from Phil. He knew that if he pulled Burns up into the high line, Cuttajar would want to take the bait and go down the inside. He's now actually causing a battle between these drivers, which is actually going to help him build that gap, which as we've said, you want to try and build as much gap as possible. Try and get it out to 1.5 seconds over the car in behind, because that is the tow distance. That is how far you have until the car can no longer get the suck up into the back of you and kind of be pulled into a position of attrition and being able to take advantage. Just got a little bit of blinking here. Some of the drivers that have actually had an incident off this restart. Let's quickly get a replay happening of it, Cowy. It's up out at turn 2 and 3 as they come down towards turn number 4. What's happened here? Kevin Wakefield's very early on the brakes.
Oh, because of the car in front had died. Oh, no, poor boys have lost car parts again. And right after the restart.
So it's not what you want to see, but Vela leads the way once again. 1 second is the gap back to Burns in P2 as they come through the bus stop.
Buddy. He's trying to check out while there's a battle behind him.
He wants to try and get this gap out as quick as he can. He's got 9.5 minutes until he reaches the checkered flag. So he wants to try and limit the battle as much as possible that he has to have out on track. So that's what he's trying to take advantage of.
Something big's happened to Andrew Johnson there, buddy, as well. He's before coming to the pits and looks like he might be retiring from the race.
Yeah, he was involved in that lap 1, the lap 3 incident.
Yeah,
you can see there
he was the
missing
car
his
that
front
was
end.
spun around and lost bits. Yeah, look at that.
So he was already involved, and then he went out wide and decided the better of it just to tow back to pits.
Alright, well back to the battle here. We're at Cuttajar, Daytona, Burns, Malloy now joining the fray here as well. Burns trying to go up in the outside, but Cuttajar is holding that inside line. And Cuttajar maybe he's just got clear a little bit, so he can now start to focus on Vela up front. Burns is not, this isn't done. He's pushing hard on Daytona, and Sean Malloy, after his race number 2 win, finds himself in a really good spot here. Double draft. I wouldn't be surprised Malloy to turn this into a couple of spots.
see here. The problem is once you're out of the draft, you really lose that speed advantage. And he's just trying to get as much done as possible as they come into the bus stop. DeBono has the inside line. He keeps P3. Malloy moves up into P4 though, ahead of Burns. Now he's going to try and get on the attack onto the back of Dylan DeBono. But he has got...
Look at Cuttajar, mate. Cuttajar's already taken a couple of tenths out of Bella's lead. So once he got clear, he's able to take the fight to the front, and Malloy here getting a great run on DeBono. DeBono fending the inside. Burns going to make it 3 wide as they go over the line. How crack is that, buddy? But 3 into 1. Oh, they've done well, and Malloy's gone around the outside and picked up DeBono. So they continue to swap positions back here for those sort of bottom podium spots.
You can see here Cuttajar just trying to push on forward. Sorry about the blipping as well.
Oh, Cuttajar, Gardner, Ben, Bartosh involved in an incident, buddy. Tessiero might have got caught up in that as well. Something big has happened mid-pack there.
So Barton, Gardner and Bartosh have all been involved in this. This is out at turn number 1. What's happened here is they come into the entry. You can see here, someone's had contact on the inside of the wall, and they've all just kind of collectively hit each other in amongst the seizuring.
The car's been turned on the outside, whether or not he turned himself or not, but he's come across the middle of the field and just caused a concertina. And Scotty Barton, that car has a bit better at various times through this race, buddy, than it does right now.
I believe it might have been Nathan Verney that did it. He hit the inside wall, and that's what's caused this.
And then we've just had a concertina of guys trying to avoid the action, and wow.
So it was so drastic that the FPS couldn't even handle it.
Letting everyone know, unfortunately, it's all just a racing incident, guys. He hit the wall. So you can't really penalise him anymore.
So Cuttajar takes the lead, trying to defend on Vela now. It's almost a replay of the battle that we saw at the end of race number 1. Cuttajar set in the fastest lap of the race, that last lap, at 141.92 on that last lap.
He's 41s to everybody, so that's a tow system for sure.
Oh, 100%.
So we'll see Vela matches it back, but I did say I thought once he got clear of that battle with DeBono and Malloy, Cuttajar would be able to take the fight to Phil Vela, and it only took a couple of laps. So that's just the power of, you have the tow and the guys behind you are fighting, so you're not fighting them. We've seen it time and time. At one moment you start fighting for position, it costs you a second or so a lap, and that's what helps the field bunch up. Then when you add a tow into the equation as well, that's why we're seeing this great jostling for positions all night.
I wonder how long it's going to take DeBono to get onto the back of these guys. He is etching on the edge of tow range right now. 1.3 seconds is the gap. As Vela has now got tow on Cuttajar, he's going to be smart. He's going to hold the position until after the bus stop. Same thing as what he did in race number 1. I wonder if Cuttajar's learned from that as well. I wonder if he knows that Vela may try to go for a similar strategy at the end of this race in terms of trying to, keep himself in behind Cuttajar.
Do you slow up to let him get back in front of you for that last lap?
I think if you can't guarantee that you can build the gap out to above the tow range, that is probably the smartest play. But it depends how willing...
If you slow up too much, you bring everyone else back into the equation. Just want to see Malloy and DeBono battle for their heart's content of P3 at the moment.
Oh, Malloy's hit the wall and taking out his wheel.
Yeah.
So Malloy has had contact with the inside wall there and lost his front wheel. He's still rotating, but he's now going to drop a bunch of spots off that.
See what happened is he made contact on the inside there. He's been squeezed.
I'm trying to see if I can get it up on screen so you can actually see. I think this right here might be the best one. So this is when he actually got the overtake done. So if we actually go on board with him here, down towards the final corner and then into turn number 1. So he's on the outside line, DeBono's on the inside. comes in, I reckon he clips the wall. Yep, he did.
He's clipped the tyres there. Yep, turned in too
Just
much.
getting an inch or a millimetre too close to the tyre barrier. And that is what has done him in there in this race here tonight. So now he's just trying to rotate around in a three-wheeled go-kart pretty much. Just trying to get it back to the pits.
He's going to have to pit that. He's going to have to pit that. I don't think he's got any option there. And again, it's Vela. They've got past Kalajar last lap. It's Kalajar coming back again. One of these guys are working out which lap. This means that they're going to be in front of the other for the final battle. But these two have been battling for a couple of seasons now, and we see them again side by side on track. So, will these two work together to keep Daytona out of it, or are they going to fight?
Well, what's interesting is, Cowy, so we're at 17.5 minutes when they cross the line. That means we're probably actually going to get 2 more laps. So right now, the advantage is in Kalajar's hands because he could actually select to let Vela past him at the start of the final lap and then wait and take the position round the final corner on the final lap. So he's in the same position that Vela was in this time in the first race, obviously for race number 3 right now. But it's going to be interesting to see what the strategy play is as Daytona is now starting to pull in Phil Vela ahead of him here. So this could become a bit of a 3-way dance for the final lap of this race. Let's see here. Let's go on board with Dylan Daytona. We'll see if he's able to gain anything around this final corner up onto the back of Phil Vela. Vela's strategy is whether he's willing to sit behind Kalajar for a lap or if he's actually going to go for the move. Look at the speed that Daytona carries through the bus stop though. That's a massive gain. It's down to half a second is the gap between him and P number 2 in Phil Vela, and he's going to have a run here down towards P number 2. Vela just hanging back a little bit. He doesn't want to make this move before the final lap. He wants to have the advantage when they come round for the final time.
If he does that, he's bringing Daytona into the equation, which is what he's done here. So, it's one of those things that you try and hold position to set up the final lap, and you open up yourself to an attack by another car that's suddenly in the mix. And that's what we're seeing. So, we think this is going to be the final lap, do we, buddy? No confirmation there?
Well, they crossed the line at about 19 minutes. In the last couple of races when we've done that, it's been the final lap. So,
all right, well, this is it. This is the battle. Kalajar, Daytona, Vela. So, as you said, I think you're right. But Vela was just maybe holding back to be in the prime position for race number 3.
My SDK is frozen.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's all frozen. So, we don't even have the actual... We don't have it on screen at the moment. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Pause.
Oh, no. This is now a radio show based on everything.
Oh, no.
Oh,
well,
my God.
It is Kalajar. Daytona closing in at the end here. Has he got enough golfer move around the outside? But has Kalajar defended it? They're coming into the bus stop. And Kalajar's got a great run through the bus stop there, but Daytona is close. But I don't know if he's got a good enough run. I think this is going to be Kalajar's race. Daytona's not closing it in enough. Vela is closing in hard on Daytona, so it might be a battle for P2 as Vela comes down and gets him just at the line. So Vela coming home P2, but it is Michael Kalajar that will take out the win. Apologies for the pictures. These guys, SDK has completely frozen on Hamish. He is behind the scenes frantically trying to work out what happened there. But we had Kalajar, Vela, Daytona battling there on the final lap, and it was Phil Vela that was able to get Dylan Daytona by maybe a foot as we get to the line.
Yeah, I must apologise. I don't know why it all decided to freeze on the last lap there. It really just decided to have a hissy fit. It's not working for me, unfortunately, so we're just going to have the intermission screen up for the interviews at the end of the race. Yeah, I can only apologise, Cowy. I'm going to have to get you to run through the results for me because I had to shut SDK and that's now taken away my ability to read out the results, unfortunately. So,
alrighty, well, it is Michael Carter-Jar that will take out the feature race win here tonight. Phil Vella with a last lap chase. Dylan DeBono snuck in front of him there on that last lap, got P2, and Phil was able to fight back to get him right at the line. So Phil Vella P2, Dylan DeBono P3, Jay Dixon finishing ahead of Dwayne Burns. I know that those two were battling hard there at the end of the race there as well. Looks like Jay has got Dwayne on the last lap as well. Greg Bradley and Caleb Bellack in P6 and 7. Shane Bowen, Connor Nixon with a great recovery from P14 up to P9, getting himself back up with some good points there in the final race. And Adam Simpson wrapping up a pretty good night for the Pro-Am driver there, P10 overall, and he was pretty much in and about that P10 position or higher in the other two races, so a good haul of points for the Fishy Motorsports machine there. Scott Pocock, Andrew Lydon, P11 and 12. Mitch McIntyre, P13, so he'll be the lead AM driver to finish in the feature there, so I think we'll probably try and have a chat to Mitch as well if we can. And then it was Darren Fahey, Callum Hodgkinson, Chris Swadling, Daniel Fritz, Danny Matisic, Tyler Sheep, and Matty Gerard rounding out the top 20. From there, Mark Cochran, Brad Hudson. Well, we saw what happened to Brad there in the final race. Daniel Byrne, driver 88, not a great night for Daniel either. I think he got caught up in a couple of incidents. We saw the grandpa, Doug Gowans, get flipped himself, also get a drive-through, I think, in one of the earlier races. Came home 6 spots higher to finish 24th. 25th to Stephen Brooks. I know Stephen got caught up in something failure there as well in race number 1. Nathan Garter, Kevin Wakefield, Sean Malloy, after winning race number 2, taking out that front tyre, just going in too tight and into T2, and finishes 23 spots down in 28th spot, so that hurts. 29th to Stephen Singovich, Dan Bartosh, and Matt finished P30. Matt Tessiero, Nathan Verdi, Greg Johnson, Scott Barton, Andrew Johnson, and Adrian Loretti, all of those guys suffering pretty much at the back of the field tonight, and not one of their best nights, that's for sure.
oh well, thanks for running us through the results there, Cowy. Again, I apologise that the iRacing gods and the SDK gods decided to have a hissy fit right at the end of the race there as we're on the final lap trying to see this action all the way to the line. There was nothing I could really do on that one. I even tried pressing pause and play again. It wouldn't even unfreeze
All right.
it. It was
It is what it is, buddy. All right, well,
Yeah.
we've got our P3 Pro driver in the green room at the moment, Dylan DeBono. So let's bring Dylan down into the broadcast, buddy. Mate, that was some pretty awesome battles going on there. You caught Phil by surprise there on the last lap, but he just got you at the end.
Yeah, that last lap was crazy. He really started the lap. I was like, oh, I'm not really catching these boys, and then I just fully sent it through the bus stop, and it scripted up, and I was like, holy! And I had a mad run down the straight, got by him, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it again, on Michael.
Well, I reckon, buddy, that you interrupted his plan there, because his plan was to make sure he's sitting in behind Carter-Jar and set up that same run for the last lap, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, you darted up the inside of him, and then he's had to deal with you. So I'm sure Michael's probably going to thank you for it, buddy. But it was awesome battles. Looked like you were right in the thick of things in all 3 of those races, man. But that draft, pretty powerful.
Yeah, the draft is crazy. I think that's what keeps you on the same pace as these real fast boys, But I'm happy, happy. A couple of podiums, the top 5. Hopefully, just get some more championship points and be there at the end.
And the racing, buddy, come on, you're right in the thick of the action there. I think Burns was in on it there. You even were dealing with, the Fishing Motorsports machines, a couple of the Pro-Am guys that were sending it to you guys there at the start of some of those races.
Yeah, those boys are fast in Pro-Am as well. I reckon a couple of weeks, mate, they might be up there with Pro, just like I was.
Well, you were one of those guys that got a quick promotion, so
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
after the
Not
first
surprised
week, I
to see
was.
that you're maybe an advocate of some other promotions out there, buddy.
Nah, that's all right. I'll let the guys on the big bucks sort that one out. But yeah, it was awesome racing tonight. I think this track, it was weird. It was like we weren't sure what the racing was going to be like because I don't know, the times are so close and it's so hard to pass in these cars when on the infield section. You know what I mean? Obviously the draft was real good, but yeah, just trying to pass in the infield was so hard because you get a little bit of aero wash, but all so close in times. You can't break. You break later than the next person, you're off the track. That's what happened to me in race
You
one on the
mentioned
start.
it, sending it at the bus stop, so that was that the question every lap. How hard do I send it through here?
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, oh, I don't know, but I noticed. I noticed we were going into the night, so I was like, oh, the track temp's going to be getting cooler. I'm like, I'll send it a bit harder next lap, and then I sent it right, and I got past Phil and just stuffed it up next lap. But that's all right. P3's not bad.
Awesome, buddy. Well, before we hear from your sponsors out there, you got any questions for the man Hamish? I know you're probably still trying to fiddle with dials back there and get things back, but
Well, I've just decided that there's no point trying to bring it back at this point. They're on the intermission screen, so it's going to be something I'm going to have to work on in the background. But I mean, Dylan, you've had a nice little rise in the series over the first couple of rounds. I mean, you mentioned those Pro-Am drivers kind of being quick. I mean, the Pro-Am has been filled by drivers who are in both amateur or pro, and they've been kind of smushed together in that kind of mid-pack class, I guess you could say. How has that kind of skill spread now changed the dynamic of driving in this field, of having not only amateurs out there, but also Pro-Ams who you're not necessarily battling for position, but they might be as quick as you on track?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I've found, and some things I need to work on myself, is picking your battles. Knowing who you're fighting in the championship and who you're fighting in the race, especially in these, not so much these sprint races because it's all about just going fast. I think especially in the 60-minute races, that's really where you need to focus on picking your battles against the pro guys versus the Pro-Am guys, because at the end of the day it's two separate championships, and yeah, you just want to win your one at the end of the day. You don't want to stuff up theirs, and you don't want to stuff up your own either.
Now, we saw in the first race there was contact between you and Connor Nixon off the exit of turn 3, and then that kind of then darted Nixon into the side of Jay Dixon, causing him to what we called probably the most spectacular crash we've ever seen in SRW. Have you got any comments based on that incident?
I think I went up and had a look at it. It's what we call netcode in iRacing. It's the devil of the game,
Yeah.
You got to expect that, but we're racing on the internet, and we got people around the world racing each other, so it's always going to happen. You just got to. Sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it doesn't, But obviously, Connor was
racing close together, buddy, and we saw contact out there before where it was a wheel on side pod, and both guys got away, and then we saw a interlocking wheel that spun both of them. So I suppose it can be a fine line sometimes.
Yeah, that's why we need to go back to racing TCRs, mate. You can just rub a bit of panels and
You can door bang.
you get away with it. But yeah, I wasn't going to say door bang because I know some people don't like that word, but yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Awesome, buddy. Well, it was a great effort from you tonight, as you said, a couple of podiums and right in amongst the action, mate. So let us know who's giving you boys all the support there.
Thanks to Velocity Sim Lab, Original Digital Design, Hear the Race YouTube, you boys for putting on the stream. I think I said it last night. It's one of the best things about racing SRWs. You can just sit back in bed and rewatch the race and listen to the entertainment you guys put on. SRW for hosting, the league. Without the league, we would have no other race, So big thanks to you guys.
Awesome, buddy. Well, congratulations, mate, and we look forward to seeing you battling the boys again next week.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right, looks like we've got our AM finisher, Mr. Tyler Sheepy She. in with the first of the new AM classification, buddy. A few of those guys are a bit too quick, have been nudged up, and you're racing with the honest folk finally, buddy.
No, it's finally good to be along with my division of drivers around me. Obviously they're still freaking to me at times, but no, it was good fun though.
So the boys, they didn't give you too much grief after, talking about them last week and racing with them this week?
No, it was pretty calm and collected. I did say I was going to beat them. After the first race, a little bit confident, but yeah, unfortunately I stood on it and just went backwards from that race. But yeah, it was good fun out there tonight. So
Did see you were right in the hunt there, as buddy, but then you looped it, sort of going onto the back straight, and it was a bit of a cascade of cars flying into you and other people around you.
yeah, I think Steve Brooks was the unfortunate one. He obviously had nowhere to go and hit me, and unfortunately because of that incident, I lost my right front tire, so I couldn't go anywhere. So yeah, that was a loss for course incident. So apologies for that. I was just a little bit too goody on the accelerator, but yeah, something I got to get used to.
Now, Tyler, we know that you've been involved in some incidents previously in seasons past. Obviously, race 3, you didn't even make it across the line before getting involved in something. What were your kind of thoughts after that incident happened? Was it kind of just heads down, try and bring back as best you can, or were you kind of a little bit down in the dumps after getting taken out so early?
Oh, it feels a bit bad, especially in back-to-back races, first lap. Obviously the car's no good. But I knew that as long as I got into the pitch and got to the back of the grid, just keep it nice and clean with the boys around me, and I'll be able to gain a few positions. I think Dougie, my teammate, was still a bit back, and I said to him, still aiming for a top 20 for this race, and I think I might have just got it. So yeah, I got what I wanted, and I'm happy with it.
Awesome, buddy. Well, it's good to have a chat to you in the broadcast booth, not as a commentator, but actually as a bona fide, race winner for your class. So, buddy, let us know who's giving you guys all the support out there.
Yeah, obviously a big thank to Velocity SimLab, Origin Digital Design, Here to Race, YouTube channel, Speed House, and all the boys in the teams as well, like Dougie doing all that. Obviously congratulations to Dill for a couple of podiums tonight. So thanks very much for all the time and effort that they put into me. They get quicker and still learning, but obviously a big thank to everyone at SRW as well, obviously bringing out the broadcast and organising the league for us to race night in, night out.
Buddy, well done on your efforts tonight, and hopefully we'll get to have a chat to you a bit more, in a driver's capacity, buddy. So well done.
Cheers for that. Hopefully there's more to come.
Let's hope, buddy. Good luck. All right. So as usual, Hamish, it looks like our resident microphone-less Michael Cuttajar is not in the chat, but we've got Phil Valley here, P2 in the feature tonight, P1 winner, Phil. Now, did Dylan wreck your plan there on that last lap?
No, look, Michael was just running away from me. He's so good through that that bus stop section, and unless I was just hanging on through the draft, I just struggled to hold on to him, and then I saw Dylan, like, a 10th here, a 10th there, just chasing me down slowly. But I did think I had a good chance, but I didn't think I could hold Dylan off the whole time, and I couldn't. I was hoping we'd get to a point where he was right on Michael, and I was right on him, and I'd get the double draft. But
well, I think that's what he got on you, buddy, even that second last lap, that penultimate lap. Because to us, it looked like you were just strategically positioning yourself there into T1, and suddenly he's come out of nowhere and got up the inside of you. But no, look, it was good, and you were able to set it up on Dylan to get him there just as the line. So the same thing you did in race 1 to Michael, it worked for you in race 3, I suppose, it was just for P2.
Yeah, it was a cute little move, but I was happy it came off.
So was it always your plan to try and be P2 and close P2 going into the final lap, or we saw Sean run away with race number 2 and get clear of that? draft, but just not able to do it in those other races, buddy?
Yeah. Look, I just didn't have the pace to break away from them. I held it for a few laps, but like I said, I'd come out into that back section, and the darker it was getting, the harder a time I was having picking my braking spot into that last the left-hander before the long straight. I just I couldn't really pick it very well, and so I felt weak out of there, and like it's a long straight to struggle on. So yeah, I held it for a bit. I think maybe 12, 13 minutes, and then you just once they're within 6/10, it's like a Hoover machine here. You just you're good for 3 or 4 tenths at least down that straight.
Well, I mean, Phil, you worked very, very hard, I guess, tonight to make your way up in race 2, as we saw. I mean, you started P10 in that race, made your way up to P5 to start from P1, sorry, in the third race tonight. We saw a lot of action happening, and I'm sure you've spoken to Jay about this, but what was his thoughts when he was flying through the air and doing probably about 8 pirouettes after the contact with Connor at the entry into turn 4?
Oh, we haven't had time to talk about the incidents yet. I don't know what happened there. Jay's really professional on comms, so he could have a family member pass and he'd just be like, "Yep, car 42."
Fair enough then. Fair enough. Well,
Awesome,
I mean, I guess
buddy.
you backed up your performance from last week. Here tonight, once again, you continue to be Mr. Consistent on the podium week in and week out. How did you tackle coming into Daytona this week? What was kind of your mindset when you may have been practicing or leading up to race night here tonight?
Yeah, I bought it earlier today, and I ran it for the first time at lunchtime. So I had kind of 20 minutes to do 15, 20 laps or so, and just ran through a tank, and then came out for practice tonight. And that's the first time I've been around the track. I was very lucky. Scott Bartain gave me a few tips about how to attack the bus stop and how to find some more time, because I was probably in the high 42s when I first came out. So yeah, appreciate Scott with those tips of finding a bit of pace around here.
Well, buddy, you seem to be able to pull it out when you need to, man. We keep hearing from you, Deerfield boys. I think it was a lockout. You locked it out last week. Only yourself here tonight, buddy, but let us know who's giving you all the support, and congratulations on another cracker night for yourself.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate, Michael and Dylan, just the closeness and competitiveness of the racing with them. But it's super clean and super respectful. And it just makes it an absolute delight to race against those folk, especially in just how tight it was tonight. I'd like to thank DFR, just very privileged to be part of the team. I'd like to thank my wife, Monica, for making the time so I can enjoy this hobby. I'd like to thank yourselves for a wonderful broadcast. I'm gonna look forward to watching it back. And then obviously, Shannons as the series sponsor of the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals, just greatly appreciate their inputs. Warren and Brown Tools, promo department, safety car. I'd like to thank Racecraft as the qualifying and pole position sponsor, and obviously my favourite, temptingsweets.com.au.
Well done, buddy. Well, as awesome. It's great to talk to you once again, buddy. We do apologise. A little glitch at the end of race number 3, so your run down the back straight might have been a radio call only because SDK decided to play up. But it was still an awesome night of action, and great to see you right in the thick of it, buddy. So well done.
Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night.
Well, Hamish, it was almost the perfect night, buddy. Your computer playing up there right at the death. Oh, it's going to give you the GBs sometimes, buddy. But we missed last week, man. It was a pleasure and an absolute cracker to be back again here. Daytona, that was everything you could have wanted in an F3 race.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit worried coming to Daytona in these cars when I first saw it on the calendar, but then I kind of thought about it. I'm like, And actually, they could actually be quite good around here. Which, yeah, and I think they really actually did lend themselves well to this circuit and type of circuit as well. Of course, next week as well, round 5, we go up to Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, so Brazil, Interlagos, being that next week is the Brazilian Grand Prix. So it's going to be a very interesting round next time out when we go to that place.
Isn't this is the Mexico Grand Prix
Yeah.
weekend, so we didn't actually talk about it, but it was F1 points offer as well tonight. So I know the current F1 leader, driver 808, Daniel Byrne, didn't have a great round tonight, but he was about 500 points in the clear. So I think the field need him to have a few more bad ones for them to bring that gap down.
I think they need him just to not show up for the next. I think there's only like 3 races left in the season, so. Because what would be left is, well, obviously Brazil next week, and then I believe Belle Isle is the replacement of Las Vegas, and then is Phillip Island or Canada the replacement for Yas Marina. So there's only 3 rounds left in that championship. Be very interesting to see how it ends up at the end of the year, but I think it might be. I think Daniel's probably locked it out by this point because it'd be pretty hard for him to lose 500 points. He'd only have to show up and complete the races. So,
Well, things are still up in the air as far as the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals go for Season 4. As always, guys, it's been a total pleasure bringing tonight's broadcast to you, both on behalf of myself, Cowy here, and Hamish. Of course, if you are enjoying the content, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. If you haven't done so already, subscribe, because there is a big prize rig going out once we hit the 1,000 subscriber amount. So make sure you do click that button and don't miss out on any of the action here at SRW. But guys, it will bring us to the end of another night, a super sprint here at Daytona for the Shannons Formula 3 Nationals. This is Cowy Average Sim Racer. We will see you next week. It's going to be awesome fun. Thanks very much, Hamish. Have a great night out there, guys, and we'll see you next time on SRWtv.
To total one, this is amazing. Up to clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation.